you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Please call or text 988.
The number is being given today, so we don't have to light this candle to remind us of another life lost to suicide. There will be better
days ahead. You just have to wait for them. There will be better days ahead.
Don't hesitate to reach out to someone right now.
I promise you that you are appreciated and loved.
Depression and anxiety, know that you're not alone.
Need help? I'm going to ask you again. Call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. You can also text or call 988, the Suicide Crisis Hotline. I love you guys. I want you here. Please help each other.
You are entering the cosmos.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. Today, a double feature, if you will. We're going to talk about things that are abominable. There was an abominable movie in 2006, and there was an abominable movie in 2020. So we're going to cover them tonight with a special guest. He's usually our werewolf expert, but he's also an expert on Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Abominable Snowman. Please, well, first off, let me bring up Major Hazzard.
Shh, be very, very quiet. We're hunting something. It may or may not be related to tonight's double creature feature, which you should have called it a double creature feature. You didn't. I was a little disappointed, General.
Double creature feature.
It's supposed to be called a double creature feature. You didn't do it. It's all right. It's all right.
It's a double training film. Why would I call it a creature feature?
Because it does feature how the public is supposed to respond to a very terrible nemesis that we have, which is the Abominable Snowman, and his name says it all.
Reaching.
His name says it all. You know, he smells bad. He's ornery. He's huge. He's hairy. It's not a good scene, okay? And so I'm just going to say what I said.
Okay, well, and you did.
I said what I said, General. And on special
and that's what you're sticking with. That's what you're sticking with, so we'll go with it.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm on special assignment, so hopefully we won't lose any power, you know, because we're deep. The only thing I'll tell you, my commanding officer told me that I could say this. He said I could say that we are deep in the thick of it, and that we are having some of the storm, surges that are going on around the globe right now. And it may or may not be related to this.
We got this Ian coming up the center of Florida soon, and we're battening down the hatches for that.
There's a lot of it. And I know you're down that way.
Shopping for water 2 days ago. Everything was gone. I was lucky to get 2 crates of water.
You're probably one of the only people that got it. A lot of people are not getting it. It's too bad. We have to be more.
Walmart kept having trucks come in. They said, "Oh, we ran out 3 times today. We had 3 trucks come in with water."
Did they sound like that? Is that the accent?
They sounded exactly like that.
They sounded exactly like that. Okay.
Well, isn't that special?
Well, isn't that
I think I'm going to go over to this market over here and see if I can find some water. And I did. I got I got 2 crates just before the pallet ended. Was cleaned out.
Well,
and of course, people were like four crates in their cart. It's like, come on.
Well, we're very happy to hear that. But of course, our number one question were you able to stock up on your peach tea there, General?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll be getting the noise.
I mix it with water.
but the tea itself, General, to make sure you don't run out.
Yeah, I got a couple boxes here. We got canned goods. We're set. And again, if the power goes out, we're just going to drive. I gassed up the vehicle. We're just going to drive somewhere else and go to a hotel somewhere else where there's power.
Well, it's a good thing that you're a general and you're prepared, and specifically a general in the big monster division.
I don't think I have to go all the way to Cancun. No,
most likely not.
But yeah, I could probably drive into a zone, maybe down in South Florida. South Florida might have some hotel rooms, I don't know. I don't know what the path of this thing is going to take. It could go up the Gulf. It could go right across Florida like everybody's saying it is. I don't know.
If you get down to the Keys, maybe you could visit Rory Penland and he could do a chip special. A chip impression.
That's a possibility. That would
be
all right. Well,
all right. Let's go. We got Alan Hops.
Let's bring up our expert, Alan Hops, who knows a lot about Bigfoot.
Hello.
There he is.
Yeah, today's kind of a double because you're doing a Bigfoot and a Yeti.
Well, here's the thing. During the 2006 movie, even though he looks like Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, they say he's supposedly more like an abominable snowman. He's more vicious. So
it comes down to the color.
They're thinking he came down from up north.
There's different features you have to look for when you're classifying these creatures, but I know Alan already understands that.
Yeah, it's a different mountain range. You're gonna find a Yeti in the Himalayas.
Correct.
And if it's over here, it is a North American ape, great ape, which would be a Bigfoot.
A Sasquatch, yes.
Right.
So I'm just telling you what the doctor said on TV in the movie. He's saying it's more like a Yeti because it's more vicious, and anyway. So we'll say that again in the timeline. But yes, he does look like a Squatch. And Hazzard, what the hell is this?
It's what I got, General. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. There's the creature feature.
No. That's the cutesy cartoon. That's the cutesy cartoon from 2019.
I don't know, General. It looks legit to me, but it could be a Russian bot. I'm gonna have to tell my.
He doesn't look as vicious as the guy said on TV.
Well, that's okay. It could be Russian involvement. I'm gonna get right on this. That was very suspicious. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay, this looks more like it. All right. So yes, this is up north. I guess near the Himalayas. The script of this movie is kind of weird because they throw in this kind of this is kind of like an area where there's a time flux where you have dinosaurs and things in this area. Although they never show any dinosaurs, which that would have been nice if they had done that since they said it.
Dinosaurs cost money.
And this movie did not.
Right.
So this is a doctor. He's trying to get away from something. He has a plant that supposedly it's a cure-all plant. That's why him and his team went up there. And it's supposed to help cell regeneration and cure cancer and everything else. And he's trying to get away with it.
Yeti plant.
And they call it the Yeti plant. And it's kind of a greenish blue plant.
It's lavender.
Is it lavender?
It's lavender.
Okay, it looked green blue to me. Maybe they painted a lavender green blue. So there's Abominable. That's the title card. This movie is Abominable. And so we meet the replacement team, the team that comes in looking for the first team. And there's a doctor there, Dr. Helen, played by Amy Gordon, and Katrina Manson plays Sarah. She's the main character.
I'm very disappointed you didn't make the growl. You didn't do Roy Orbison growl for her. She's very beautiful. I'm just gonna say.
Wait till the next movie. There's 5 girls that they bring in as Sasquatch bait in that one. It's a wedding party. It's like a bachelorette party.
The next movie has prettier women. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes, this one leaves a lot to be to desire. Anyway, you put me on the spot there, Hazzard.
I thought she was very attractive. I'm sorry, I thought she was attractive. It's okay.
Well, I'm sure she'd be happy to hear that. So this guy's out there. He's part of the first team. And he and his girl get killed by the abominable snowman. He's saying, "Hey, don't come find it. Don't come looking for us." So when they get there, they decide, "Oh, there's a problem with these little things that we've set around that help us triangulate the GPS or something so we can get in and out of here." So they say, "We got to fix that." So that means we all got to go out in there. And here's our first real shot of our creature. As somebody who creates creatures, and I damn it, I forgot to upload your pictures to show. Could you give us kind of your assessment?
All right.
On what happened here?
This is me hoping that we don't spend a long time on this movie because it's bad. There's a lot of places you can see the seams. You can see a lot of weird folding and buckling. The head of it looks good. I'm pretty sure that's an immortal silicone mask called Primate.
Yeah.
And, they have that is haired, but it's not haired very well. So I don't think they sprung for Immortal to do it. I think they did it themselves.
Again, I didn't have a problem with the simian face. I didn't. That was okay.
If that's the mask I think it is, then it was sculpted by a guy named Andrew Freeman, and he's excellent. But the body, I think, is made out of carpet foam. And it moves like it's made of carpet foam. And look at that seam right there on the wrist.
Yes.
That's a real clear seam. So
it looks like they built it over a coat.
Yeah, they have silicone gloves and silicone hands, a silicone head, and then the rest they kind of fabricated together.
Yeah. So they're out doing their thing. They're trying to fix the triangulation thing so that they can get out of there when they find what it is that they're looking for. Some think that they're looking for the Yeti plant. Some are, one guy's looking for the Yeti. That guy. He wants to kill the Yeti. He wants to bag a Yeti and say, "Hey, I did it."
To bang a Yeti? Did you say bang a Yeti?
I said bag.
So
he wants to shoot a Yeti.
So we have a comment about carpet foam. And a lot of monster suits that are built up are just upholstery foam. And carpet foam is like a 1/2-inch foam, but it comes on a roll. Yeah. And then you can paint it with latex, and then you can put like raw cotton on it, and that gives it a skin texture. And that's how a lot of these suits are built up.
Yeah. But
I had a molar removed on Monday, so I'm talking a little weird. But.
Oh my goodness. I have one that's due to be removed. I should get it removed anyway. So yeah, the doctor is out with the guy who's nuts to kill a Yeti, and he sees that she's got this book that the first doctor left behind. You would think he would take that with him, but he left it behind in the office there, and she found it, and she's got all kinds of clues as to where to find the Yeti plant, and that means the Yeti.
I want to make a note. Like, I thought this book looked really pristine. Now, it bothers me in movies when every treasure map has burnt edges, every treasure map is ripped in half and then kind of put back together, or, everything like that. But it bothers me in this, how clean and nice this book was. Like, they bought a book, they filled it with writing, and we're done.
Here's the book. But he's a scientist. He would keep his book nice, you would think.
I guess.
But yeah, I see what you mean. It doesn't look very authentic. So we have the computer guy, the Asian computer guy stereotype character. He spends a lot of time looking scared in this.
Well, I'm happy to see one Asian in Asia.
Yes.
Which is where they are. So I'm happy to see at least one in the movie. That's good.
Yes. If they're in the Himalayas, yes.
There's no Sherpas. There's none of that.
Okay, now this guy sees the Yeti coming, so he tells the girl, "Hey, go ahead and I'll hold off the Yeti for you." And this is his last stand with the Yeti. He does his best to hold off the Yeti as best as he can.
So that patch on his arm, it says 1 shot, 1 kill. And that's false advertising because he doesn't hit a thing. Like, he shoots so much. I expect to watch him reload a bunch, and he's bad at it. Very bad.
Well, and they all do. They all shoot at this thing, and they all waste all their ammo, and they shoot it in the body and not the head. I mean, you would think a headshot would be a kill, but none of them shoot them in the head. And they just keep shooting it into the foam body. It just keeps bouncing off.
See all those weird folds in it? It's just it's not good.
Again, I think there's his arm getting ripped off, which is nice. It's one of the better effects in this movie. What was I going to say now? There was I think that this was one of those movies where they had to actually like with CGI put the bullet like flashes. I think they were just they were just shaking their guns, and then later in post they put in the sound and they put in the muzzle flash, as they say. So again, like you say, a very, very low budget training film.
There's also a lot of CG blood in this because this movie was actually shot in sub-zero conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So it was shot in sub-zero conditions. So all of the fake blood and stuff would freeze on set.
Yeah, they look very, very cold. I would imagine this was not a pleasant shoot because they all do look very cold.
Yes. It is shot in sub-zero conditions.
Okay, so he gets his jaw ripped off. By the way, I have to disclose that we do show these kind of things on this show. That's what the show is about, and also we show the entire movies in spoilers. We go through a timeline of each movie, and we're going through 2 today. So there's going to be language. There's going to be unsuitable situations for kids. There's going to be a lot of pictures of graphic gore that goes on in these films because that's what the people that are fans of these want to see. So there it is. That's my disclaimer. I should have made that at the beginning of the show. Okay, so she is shooting around again, wasting her ammo.
And is that a Desert Eagle?
I'm sorry?
Is that handgun a 50 caliber Desert Eagle?
It looks like it might be.
That like triangular barrel. That's a heavy gun for her. Go her. Good job, Doc.
You would think there would be some muzzle jump on that. like a Magnum,
You actually go back a little bit. Go back to that last shot.
Yeah.
It almost looks like the Yeti is peeking around a tree. Just look at the end of her gun.
I see it.
It almost looks like he's peeking out from behind a tree back there. It's not too simple of a shape, but
he does that a lot in this movie.
Yeah, they're a bunch of tree peepers.
Yes, he does that a lot in this film because they don't want you to see the whole costume.
But they're not shy about showing it either.
So, we go back to the main bunker. He hears some noises outside, so of course he goes outside. And he finds the guy's arm, which is, alarming, disarming. And he gets a shot. He gets this again. The Yeti peeps out from behind a tree there, and it scares him. I think that's the next shot. Nope, I didn't. It's not here. Anyway, so he goes back to the bunker. She comes back to the bunker. Okay, we've just about got it triangulated. I just got to make one more adjustment outside. Oh man. So that's a lot of this movie is them trying to do this job, and the Yeti keeps picking them off one by one, basically.
Yeah, the whole movie is about, oh my God, the internet's down. And it's all it's all of what they're trying to do to get the internet back up.
There he is.
And he's holding his flower.
And I noticed that when this morning. He's got the flower in his hand. I think what they're trying to say is that even though he gets shot, he can use this flower to heal himself.
So, since this is an Everest, all right, Yeti is YETI is kind of a bastardization of what it used to be or should be coming from the Everest area. Okay. It was Yeti, YEH-TEH. Yeti.
Okay. Yeti.
And that is the one that lives right at the snow line. Snow line and trees is where that one lives. and there was a mete, the yeti is about between 6 and 8 feet tall, and there is a mete, M-E-T-E-H, and that's 4 to 6 foot tall, and they live down in the forest, well below the snow line.
Okay, so I know why you're saying this is because this is a kind of a short yeti.
It is, and then there's another one. There's a DZU-TEH, Zute, which is the one that lives way up high in the mountains above the snow line in the hard pack. And those are 15 feet tall.
Okay.
So that's from the area. And most of these yeti are normally seen by streams or hunting mountain goats.
So this is an abominable mete because
he's a little tiny.
Yeah, he looks to be like maybe 6 feet tall.
Yeah. This, did you know who played this? Tim Schultz. Tim Schultz. You know what else he was in?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I saw the name here on the list. Tim Schultz. Yes.
You know what else he was in?
No.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Good. That makes sense because he's not a very good monster mover in this.
No.
I know you are one of those people who knows monster movement and what to do. I've seen you in action, and this guy just basically kind of just lumbers around, and it's just not that effective.
He probably had the most comfortable costume on set because he was warm.
Yeah. I like the way you set that up. Do you know what he's been in?
Nothing else ever.
And as it should be. Let's move forward. So okay, the last thing. I'm sorry. This is the second box with Dr. Helen and Bob, and this is where Bob double crosses her. He shoots her in the leg, leaves her for the Yeti, takes the book, and he goes, I'm sorry, you're on your own. Now, if he would have really been nasty, he would have shot that box.
Right. Yeah.
But luckily for the story, for the sake of the story, he didn't destroy the box. So she is able to fix that, and these two are able to fix the other one that's closer to the main office there, the doctor's thing. And he's pounding on he sees the Yeti. He's pounding on the window. Come on, come out again. And again, I was moving forward and, trying to make this go quicker because I had a feeling you don't want to spend too much time on it. So now again, he's shooting and not really hurting anything, I don't think. And I kept expecting this guy to die several times in this movie. He came close to the Yeti and or the Mete, and yeah, you see that muzzle flash there? That's been put in post. Come on,
it looks pretty posty. Yes,
that looks pretty CGI to me.
Yeah,
and cheap company CGI.
Look at that. Look at the wrinkles in his arms.
Yes, this
is a rough suit. That suit's tired. It's seen some stuff.
All right. So moving forward. Or not. Again, these two spend a lot of time together. Oh, very nice. And here's an interesting thing. She holds it off with a flashlight.
Well, the bullets weren't working, so you have to try
something. Put down your guns. Get out your flashlight. Yeah, he does not like the flashlight.
So that is like anti what you should think, because living on the snow and in the plains, they're immune to being snowblind.
Yes.
So they're used to bright lights. Think about how white it gets when they're in the whiteout areas,
The alpen,
this was a cave creature.
The alpenglow does nothing to them.
Exactly.
And I can see right down his suit sleeve.
Yes. Yeah, just sad. But okay, there it is. So, all right, he's held off by a flashlight. It's a very bright flashlight. This was the one cool shot that they did. It was a drone shot that they did for the movie, and this was the one good choice that they made as far as setting up the atmosphere. I liked the down shot, the drone shot that they have of the little doctor's office there.
Now, there's a lot of tracks there for this remote Everest base. A a lot of, tire tracks and such all over kind of every direction. But I mean, I guess that's feasible, but they probably should be covered up by snow, most of them.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In my opinion.
So she finally gets the thing set up the way it's supposed to be set. And she leaves. And the minute she leaves, the Mete comes into the office for a visit. And this guy who has met this Yeti like 5 times already, he finally meets his due.
See, this whole film was just a misunderstanding. At the beginning of the film, they called IT, and the Yeti thought they called Yeti. And that's why he showed up.
He's gonna fix. I could have fixed that computer for you.
Yeah.
Look, I got a special card up my sleeve here.
Now for Alan, do Abominable Snowmen and Yeti and Mete and all these, do they usually come indoors, or is this a unique situation?
I would say it's a unique situation. It's like bears don't normally come indoors, but sometimes bears do, and it's bad when they do. So just like a bear, think of it like a bear or a polar bear. Boy, that's a rough. That picture of his hands just there. Look at how bent the fingers are of the Yeti. See how he's grabbing him, and the gloves are just too big.
Yeah, so you're supposed to watch the blood. You're supposed to be watching the gash on his neck. But no.
So that is a carpet foam suit, and they put clear silicone on it in order to stick the hair on, and the hair is just kind of stuck on.
Yes.
Makes me sad. Sorry.
This is what makes Alan Fox cry at night. He curls into a fetal position and cries when he sees this level.
Why? Why?
He feels it viscerally.
Now,
it's visceral. He's a professional. Someone should hire him, whoever they hire.
So I didn't notice it before, but this guy has a huge cranium in this shot. Looks like his forehead is much higher than normal in this shot.
Well, he's got a fur cowl, and sometimes the cowl is sitting here, and sometimes the cowl slides back.
I guess so.
It all just depends, because that is a cowl made.
So they just made him a parka to put over that ape mask.
Right.
All right. So the doctor, Dr. Helen, decides I'm going to fix my wound here on my leg, and I'm going to hobble to a safe place. I'll see if I can catch up to Bob and see what he's up to. Maybe find that flower. She has got brain cancer, by the way. She admits to him, and that's why she's trying to find the flower to cure herself as well as cure everybody else. She was going to synthesize the flower so that she can copy the makeup of it and help cure the world. So let's move forward.
That does look like a normal Sasquatch because it's a commercially available mask from a company called Immortal Masks. Excellent silicone mask. That one is called Primate.
Okay. There we go. So Bob now is on the hunt. And he's looking crazy.
Yep, he's hunting.
Yep. Okay, so he realizes that he's being followed by Dr. Helen, and he gets the jump on her again.
It almost looks like she's being chloroformed.
Yeah, well, he came up behind her. She actually found a couple of pages of the doctor's notes that were very important in her pocket that evidently had fallen out of that pristine book you were talking about earlier. There you go.
That's the face. That's the mask.
That's it right there. That looks like it.
Primate by Immortal Masks.
Hey. Gotta love that.
Gonna make your own.
But
Yetis.
A great mask does not a monster make.
No.
As we have found. Okay. Let's move it forward. Okay, she comes upon the three of them, and then he says, "Oh, it's her, and it's her fault," and they're blaming each other, and don't trust her, and I just want to kill the Yeti, and then of course the Yeti shows up because it's a party. Oh, there we go. There's the blaming.
Let's move quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So now he's shooting rapid fire, machine gun fire at the Yeti. The Yeti's slowing down, but no headshots. This guy's supposed to be a professional, and no headshots at all. He's just shooting into the Yeti's body.
I think I would go for a Yeti's knee. Because enough bullets, you could probably take out the knee and hurt their mobility.
Yeah, there you go. Then he can't chase after you. That makes sense. But, right between the eyes wouldn't hurt.
One or two of those wouldn't be bad, correct?
It would hurt the Yeti, but or the Mete. But you see how tall he is? I mean, it might be a perspective thing, but he just doesn't look that much taller than the rest of them. So he goes down to his knees, the Yeti does. And he's breathing heavily, blood coming out of his mouth. So the guy thinks, I've beaten him. He goes, I've beaten you. I did this to you. So what do we learn from this? Don't get close and taunt the Yeti.
Right. Let the dead thing stay a dead thing. Don't touch it.
Yeah. This would have been a perfect place for a double tap to the head, but no. I beat you. I beat you. This was me. I did this. And that's the way you get your face ripped off.
Yeah.
Because Yetis do that. They'll just rip your face right off. They'll just rip your face right off. Now, this was actually not a bad effect. I mean, this was fairly decent.
Did the sun come out from behind a cloud too?
Yeah. It is.
Look at the lighting difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty dark a few seconds ago. So he falls to the ground. And so you're saying that there was a lot of blood was put on here digitally, huh? That's interesting. I've never heard of that before, but that makes sense.
It's a pretty common tactic as far as like particle effects, any kind of a blood splatter. A lot of that's going to be the CG nowadays.
The Yeti was triggered. They flipped his rip your face off switch. Great comment. Because they will. If you give them the chance, they'll rip your face off. Okay, so here's a weird part now, okay? She had a flashlight that worked earlier. It was very bright, but now she starts a flare to push at him. Fire bad. Which is weird. Because where did that come from? And what gave you that idea?
Well, see, she knows something that you don't. All that carpet foam is flammable.
Okay, there we go.
So he could catch.
And then they find the flower. They get the flower. And again, she's using the flare to keep him at bay. The doctor says, "Here, take the flower, take it to humanity." I can't move very good now because he's shot my leg. And she runs. And again, the Yeti is wounded. He's not moving as fast as he was. But in the next shot, she's running through the woods again. And you'll see that she doesn't have the flare. It has magically changed into the... Oh, no, there it is. There she is. There it is. Sorry. There is a Yeti shot here. And, that arm. Ay.
Yeah, that's rough.
She's holding him at bay with the flare. But it changes to the flashlight is what I'm going to say in a second. She's in one scene, she's running with the flare. In the next scene, she's falling down and she's got the flashlight.
Those flares are unreliable, apparently.
I guess so. But again, why didn't she just pull the flashlight out? It worked before. Why run to the woods, have the flare burn out, and then use the flashlight and not show that scene? Anyway, so there she is with the flashlight. And in the most anticlimactic ending, she falls asleep. She just plops down to the snow and is unconscious. So you think, oh, well, yeah, the Yeti's going to rip her limb from limb. No.
She just takes a nap.
She takes a nap, wakes up, and she's in the back of a police car. Or a
Maybe
police
she's
van.
also narcoleptic.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she was just narcoleptic and just fell out, and this was the first we heard of it.
So this is actually a problem on Everest. There's a lot of, as you're climbing Everest, there's a lot of bodies that you pass because it doesn't make any sense to take them out.
Yes.
And there's a famous body called Green Boots. And like it's a mile marker, you're getting close to the top when you find this body. And it's this, what happens is they get oxygen deprived, they sit down and they go to sleep and they don't wake up. And no one takes them out because it's Everest, so it's so much work to get up there. You don't bring anything out of it either. So when she fell asleep the first time I saw this, I thought, okay, she's done. This is where she dies. They're not at any great height or anything.
Be Green Boots.
That's bad at altitude,
So yeah, against that theory, they went ahead and rescued her and put her in the back of the van and gave her a cup of coffee. And,
Remote Everest. They just kind of drove up and got her.
Well, I think it was Canada, And this police woman, says a speech about, well, with all the dinosaurs and Yetis and strange things coming out of this area. We didn't see it. Well, yeah, we saw a bad Yeti costume.
They were setting up for a sequel where the Yeti can fight a velociraptor.
Oh, there you go.
I'd watch that.
That would be entertaining. Even at the what kind of suit do you think they would make for the velociraptor if the Yeti suit was this bad?
Yeah, that'd be rough too.
You'd see where the coat meets the hands and the claws. All right, so she's got the plant. So hey, happy ending. The world now has a cure for cancer and everything else. And that happened in 2020. So you got to love that. All right, let's get out of this shite right away.
That movie was bad.
Yes. Let's move forward to the real nugget of gold here. This next one, a lot of people have said this is probably the best Bigfoot movie they've ever seen or Sasquatch movie they've ever seen. A lot of people said that. And I got to say, I really enjoyed it. It's got a good cast. It's got a really interesting looking Sasquatch.
Yes. Yes.
It's definitely not your run of the mill textbook Sasquatch look. I mean, it's big. The thing is like, what, 12 foot tall? It's huge. Yeah. And they do a lot to actually show that, unlike this first film where they didn't even try to do any perspective or anything to help give this thing some height. So let's move on to that one. That one is called Abominable, and it was made in 2006. Okay, so we start out with Billy Haas and his wife Ethel, played by Rex Lynn and Dee Wallace Stone. Dee Wallace we saw on the show when we did The Howling not long ago.
That's right.
She was the main character of The Howling. She's gotten much older since then. That was an 1980s movie. This is 2006.
She gets around.
Yeah. So she gets into a lot of hairy creature movies. So they hear something outside. There's commotions with the horses outside. They go outside and they see this was the weirdest effect in this movie was the dead horse, which looked like a horse statue, with its feet straight out, like an Animal House. They had
horse.
What's that?
The very solid horse. Yeah.
Yeah. The legs are straight out. He's very stiff already. So it's kind of like when they were trying to get the horse out of the dean's office in Animal House.
It's probably a zebra taxidermy form because those are pretty inexpensive.
Okay. So they look out into the dog looks out into the woods, and there's something out there that's big, whatever it is, and it's scary. And they go back into the house. They're scared. They come back out of the house when they think it's past, and we see the big footprints out in front of the house.
Classic Bigfoot footprints.
Yes, very well done.
Very classic, and they even put them the right distance apart.
Yes.
They're not real close together.
Right.
Because he's got bigger legs, big creature, big stride.
Yes. So the station wagon contains our hero, Preston Rogers, played by Matt McCoy, who was Steve Guttenberg's replacement in the Police Academy movies when he was younger. Has some of the bluest eyes in Hollywood. And his keeper, Otis Wilhelm, who's a major weenie head.
Everyone wants him to die.
Christian Tinsley. Yes. And I have to think that Christian Tinsley was friends with the director of this movie and the writer of this movie. Anyway,
okay.
They're going to Flatwoods.
Are you ready for this? Christian Tinsley made the suit.
Really?
Christian Tinsley was the effects guy. And after this, not like right after, but he also did all of the effects in Passion of the Christ.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he is a big professional. He developed a technique called Tinsley transfers, which is where you freeze Prozaid in order to make wounds, and then they stick on. Complicated, but he's actually really good.
That sounds good. That was Jeffrey Combs, by the way, who a lot of people know as Reanimator.
Yep.
But he's also done a lot of other movies. He was in The Frighteners as an interesting character, and he's the one that's pointing up to Suicide Rock. That's where Preston and his wife were climbing, and the wife died, and Preston also fell a long way and is in a wheelchair now. Which is another interesting aspect of this. The conflict is he's in a wheelchair and he still has to get away from a monster.
Yes.
Everything
is harder.
Yeah. And of course he's got Otis to deal with as well. He's going up there because he was suicidal, and he's, the hospital said, "Hey, why don't you take him up to the cabin and, let him look at Suicide Rock for a while, and maybe he'll feel better."
He seems upset. Take him to the place his wife died.
Yeah. Yeah. Let him look at dusty pictures of his wife and Suicide Rock outside the window there, and
sure,
that's gonna work. I think his doctor's a quack, but anyway, makes it an interesting film. So we established these in a wheelchair. Otis puts him in the wheelchair, takes him upstairs. We can move through this a little quicker because it's just the setup. And again, he's moping around the house, looking at pictures. And the guy forgot to get his special milk, his soy milk, because he's lactose intolerant, evidently, or he's allergic to milk. And
he's allergic, yeah. So
he sends him away. So he's all alone now in the house, looking at pictures of his wife and Suicide Rock and et cetera. So he's just about to probably do himself in. when 5 girls show up next door. There we go. Wow. Amanda's played by Haley Joel. CJ, the Asian girl, is played by Karen Anna Chung. There's one girl named Karen Herdberger. That's important because he remembers the name, and that's how he gets her phone number, her mobile phone number. That's Ashley Hartman and Tiffany Shepis. And there's Haley Joel as Amanda. They get a little moment there where he waves and she smiles, and we get some bonding there.
But the rest are pretty much creeped out.
Yeah, they think he's a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
So he's taking his medication. That's what's kept him alive so far, despite, And the girls are, meeting about the wedding party. They're talking about the wedding party, so we know that's like a bachelorette party kind of thing. And the sun goes down. And that's when we see that's when the Bigfoots come out. That's when our furry friend starts getting a closer look. It's a nice shot.
Yes, it is. There's no Bigfoots in it.
Not yet. There's no food in the fridge. They've established that. By the way, if you stay in somebody else's house, don't eat the mayonnaise. Anyway, and as if they've established that Otis is taking his sweet time getting back.
Well, he's not the nicest guy, so I assume that he is doing something nefarious.
So yeah, Preston looks out the window, and the phone pole is knocked down in the street, or in the dirt road, or what the path, whatever you want to call it. So the phone is out. He checks. Yep, phone's out. But he sees that Miss Herderberger still has her mobile phone. But she's getting a bad signal in the house. She goes outside to call her boyfriend.
That's where the Bigfoots are.
And yeah, he's watching as she's outside on her phone. And then all of a sudden, she's not there. But her phone's still there. So he's like, oh, well, that's peculiar. So he gets his binoculars, and yeah, sure enough, there's the phone. See the binocular rings around him. This actually makes the girls think he's more of a pervert because he's using binoculars to see everything. They don't realize, oh, he's in a wheelchair, he can't stand up, So he keeps looking around, and boom, he sees a pair of eyes like that in the forest. And again, they're the flashing eyes like animals. They reflect.
So that picture right there reminds me of a very famous photo, which is skunk ape, that they say is a actual photo of a skunk ape.
So that's an homage to that photo.
It is. Here, and I'll show you that photo real quick.
Interesting. Hazzard's going to like this.
See that? See those glowing eyes that same way?
Yeah, the glowing eyes. Yeah.
The eyes are almost exactly the same. And there's a couple shots of it where
cool. And that's Florida. You can see the palm fronds.
Right.
And it looks like a gorilla, kind of. All right. Okay, so now he knows there's something out there, whether it be a bear or a monster. He doesn't look like a bear. Yeah. So he doesn't know what it is, but he knows it got the girl. He's pretty sure. So he tries to warn the others. Again, he remembers her name. And then Otto shows up. Or Otis. Otis shows up and scares the shit out of him.
It's a jump scare in the movie for sure.
There's a couple of jump scares like that in this movie.
Yeah.
He opens a closet and some shit falls on him. That's another one. So we go out into the woods, and Buddy Boy, who we saw earlier, Jeffrey Combs, is now with Lance Henriksen playing Ziegler Dane, and Billy Haas is out there with him saying, "Hey, I saw it, and it was Bigfoot," and they're all like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And Zane himself, or Dane, Ziegler Dane, really doesn't buy it. And they start teasing and kidding and talking about the Darwin Awards because Buddy Boy, has to wear oxygen. He uses an oxygen and he smokes. So like, well, you're just killing yourself, There he is. So you see the oxygen tube he's got.
Yeah.
And he just lights one up. And they're laughing, and all of a sudden they start hearing stuff out in the woods. So
I can never look at him and not see Herbert West.
Yeah, it's hard. He's done a lot of characters. So Ziegler goes out into the woods behind their camp, and he finds blood, and he follows it, and he finds a cave. And he goes into the cave because, you know, when there's blood all around, you definitely want to go into a cave.
Because that's what white people do in horror movies.
Exactly.
Make poor decisions.
And there's lots of bones in the cave. First, he comes upon some animal bones. That should be in the next shot, I'm hoping. Yeah. And then he comes across some human bones. Uh-oh. Maybe you should think about turning the other way.
So here's a note. Nothing will eat in its own lair unless it knows it's the top predator in the area.
Okay.
Like a lion might drag a kill back and hang out around the kill because they know that they're the top predator.
Mm-hmm.
But anything less, like a jackal or hyenas, they want to eat somewhere else, you know, and then go home. So
don't you your sleep.
The fact that it dragged all its food here means it thinks it's the biggest thing in the valley.
Yeah, there it is. And then what the hell is this in the next slide? It looks like kind of a primate head mug.
That's a gorilla skull, pretty much.
Yeah, you know, missing link. I don't know. So, but the eyes are not completely hollowed out, or the nose. It looks like a kind
bad prop skull,
like a sculpture. So it sculpts in his spare time.
Yeah, right.
So, and is that what the little bone on the right is that like a doggy chew bone?
It looks like a goat bone, in all honesty, like a goat foreleg.
All right. So he finds Herderberger. She's down there, Herdberger. She's down in the cave, and she's all split open at the stomach, and she's bleeding, and she's not doing well. And he's like, "Oh, I'll go. I'll get some help for you. I'll be back soon." No, don't leave me, please. Don't leave me.
The quality of his bedside manner, he actually says, "Oh, that's gross," when he's looking at
yes. Yes. Ugh. Yeah, he almost vomits when he sees her stomach all split open like that.
Yeah.
Her entrails popping out. So again, that's where he says it right there. And she's like, "Oh, you're mean. Don't leave me." Yep. But he does. He runs back to camp. I'm guessing he realizes it's well, you know, again, he says, "I saw it." So you guys happy? That's what he says here when he runs back into the camp. But you know, it could be a bear. I mean, or he could think it's a bear. I mean, that makes sense. But there it is. So he runs back to camp. They get their guns ready for the big attack. But this thing is smart and stealthy. It takes out Rex first. I'm sorry, Billy Haas. Rex is the actor's name. Swoops him right out, but from behind the other two. She's in the cave.
Drive-bys are devastating.
Yeah, and then Lance is close to a tree. He gets you know, taken out. And you know, when Buddy Boy sees it, he's like, "Hey, you know what? We can forget about all this. I'm going to go back home now. Okay, you be cool, all right?" And of course, here's another interesting thing about this Squatch. It can actually open its mouth really big, like incredibly big, to swallow big items.
So the
kind of
only
like a Muppet.
The only like reference for that is that if you've ever seen a thylacine, which is a Tasmanian tiger, they're a cryptid now because they still get spotted, but they're officially extinct. A Tasmanian tiger or thylacine, when their mouth opens, they have a double hinged jaw.
Yeah,
and it's not uncommon in animals, and one of the reasons why sometimes that's attributed to Bigfoot because of the noises they make, and because Gigantopithecus is the giant ape that many people think Bigfoot are derived from.
Okay.
Gigantopithecus, that's hard to say with a tooth missing.
You're doing great.
all that we know about him is from molars and teeth that we have found in caves, because we know these are just like gorilla teeth, but they have to be 15 feet tall, so they're massive, and not uncommon for a gorilla to have a jaw that opens wider so they can break down the big bamboo and stuff that they eat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought it was interesting they went that route with this. But yeah, he's evidently got some kind of double hinge jaw thing going on there. Okay, so he sends a message, or he calls Herdberger's phone, and the girls go out there and they pick up the phone, and he says, "Hey, look, your friend has been taken." And they're like, "What? Oh, it's the pervert from upstairs." And he's trying to open the window to talk to them, and he can't get the damn window open. He cuts his thumb open, trying to get the window open, and he ends up breaking the window. So anyway, they try to call her, or I'm not sure what she's doing on the phone there, actually. But anyway, they go back into the house. The Asian girl, CJ, dumps a glass of drink on one of the other girls, Michelle. I guess it's Natalie Campagno, Michelle. She's the one that does the film's nudity scene. She goes into the shower to wash off the drink that's been spilled on her.
One of my favorite deaths in a horror movie is that death there.
Yeah, well, the death of this expert on TV.
No, the one in the shower.
No, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. So yeah, Otis is still conked out. He's just taking a nap. And,
Otis has taken the drugs that were meant for the doctor.
Really?
Yes, he took his drugs.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he slipped himself a Mickey.
Okay. So that was this professional that said this is more like a Yeti than it is a Bigfoot. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, he's watching that show real briefly, and then of course he starts watching her taking a shower, and then Otis wakes up and he starts watching her take a shower, and then the Bigfoot, after Otis gives him the glasses back, the Bigfoot grabs her through the window and pulls her through like that.
Yeah,
so that it splits her
in half backwards through a small window. That's a beautiful shot. There's a lot of money in that shot, time and effort.
Wow, it looked very realistic. I don't know how they did it. That was a very impressive thing that they did there.
And that actress was Tiffany J. Shepis, who, way back when I went to Chiller Theater Horror Convention many years in a row, I got to meet her several times before she kind of got big and famous.
Okay.
And, she's an
now,
awesome
why is
lady.
it that she's at the bottom of the list of the girls? It says Tracy, Tiffany Shepis, Tracy.
Back then, she was known as Tiffany J. Shepis. I don't know what happened to the J, but she's very nice, very awesome.
Cool. All right. So, he's taking his second girl now. Things are getting serious. He's trying to tell Otis. Otis is like, "You're just making this up, so I'll take you back. I'm going to prepare a little cocktail for you." And Preston gets the upper hand, and the cocktail ends up going into Otis's neck. So Otis is out of the picture for now.
Again, out of the picture.
Yeah. And then he goes to the window, and the Bigfoot's right there.
So look at those teeth.
Yes.
Those are very much, well, they're not great meat eater teeth. They're all kind of flat. Now, I guess he has the bite force.
I don't
know.
know.
That's why his jaw opens so wide. He can break his food into chunks and just shove it in there.
They're somewhat jagged.
It's a quality suit, though. It's quality teeth, because you can tell when the mouth closes, they line up.
Yeah.
That's good work. The monster was built by Christian Tinsley and his crew.
Yeah.
But it was designed by a guy named D'Alessandro. And D'Alessandro now, he does all the storyboards for the Marvel movies. So that's what he does. He had a little career in creature design, and he designed it. Then Christian Tinsley's people built it.
But obviously a good artist if he's doing that. If he's doing marbles,
he's amazing. I'd have to find his name. That was off the top of my head, but I think it's like D'Alessandro.
I'd like to actually see the sketches of this suit before Tinsley and his crew went at it. That would be interesting. Okay, so moving forward, we find the sheriff, who is Paul Gleason, who, was Clarence Beeks in Trading Places. He was in The Breakfast Club as the mean-ass principal. And he's, he just plays a really good asshole. And this is Philip Morris, who's actually the son of Greg Morris, who was on Mission Impossible. And he was on Mission Impossible, the new show in the 80s, the newer show. Okay. So they got a really good cast for this film. But he shows him the email from Preston, and the sheriff's just like, nah, this is bullshit. Interesting that they went with the full moon shot in this. Maybe they're showing the light in the background. Well, they're probably showing that it's when the people go outside, it's going to be lighter. Probably. I have to step away for a quick second. I will be right back. I'll be right back. Well, okay then. Sorry. All right.
But that's all right, because we have a friend here. Alan is leaving us with his little friend there, who is very beautiful, to be honest.
The nice little blue-faced Yeti.
It looks very similar, but it has a blue face as opposed to the pink face or the brown face. So it might be a different species. We have different species.
Yeah, and that's why I wore this. I wore this today because, the light-colored.
Can you do that shimmy again? Do the shimmy again. That was very fun.
And I was not touching my nipples. I had my shoulder. Okay, I didn't do it down here.
General, I'm surprised. I'm so scandalized. You're talking about your nipples. Oh no! I can't believe it.
I just want you to know.
This is Alice Standing, and
don't do that on camera.
Yes, every station needs a well-placed megaphone.
Yeah, if you'd have had a megaphone, you could have just, all right, girl, there's a Bigfoot outside your place. That would have worked. Okay. What's the next slide in the timeline?
Hold on, let's see. It is
okay, it's the girls. She's knocking on the door of the bathroom for Tracy, who is taking a shower. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're sorry. Come on out." And they're gonna find out that Tracy's just got pulled through a broken window, and there's blood everywhere, and they freak out. And the sheriff's department says, please don't use this email for jokes and practical, you might end up with a big fine or thrown in jail.
It's written very legalistic. I mean, this is very believable. Very believable.
Very, very believable text. Okay, good. And Alan's back. I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to grab a pill real quick. Oh, okay. So then they realize, the window's broken. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere. Oh my God. The guy next door is right. There is something out there. And now we get our first real good shot of the creature, because he's just outside and Preston sees him. Now, bear with me. That looks a little bit like Jack Black. Jack Black? Yep. I'm thinking Jack Elam, the character actor from Westerns and stuff. Okay. Show the next slide. And I'll show you my comparison. And a little bit like Mark Hamill in the later Luke Skywalker. Now there's Jack Elam. And I saw that somebody else had said this same thing on a podcast. I said it first. When the movie first came out, I was telling everybody he looked like Jack Elam. So I said it first, damn it. And I'm saying it now because it's true. That's one heck of a head and a jaw set on him, man. Yeah. I would not want to be bit by it. Now, the next one is the Mark Hamill comparison, I think. Because Mark Hamill's got some jagged teeth on the bottom. He doesn't always show them, but more like Jack Elam, though, really, to be honest. Yeah. Especially when he's got his beard. Yeah, okay, on the right-hand side, you're right, that does. Yeah, see? And he's got those wonky eyes. So, okay. So the creature heads over to the girl's house, and Preston has to warn them. He has to tell them. And they finally start listening to him. What's going on? He's on his way. He's coming to your place. Hide. They freak out. They run. And yeah, he gets into the door pretty easily. I don't know why there's all this blood on the door. Unless there was a lot of...
He pulled her through the window and he got covered in blood.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's because he's got a lot of blood on him from Tracy. Now this girl's moving too much and he pulls her through the floor and bites her neck. Even though Preston's like, stop moving. Don't move. He can hear you. He pulls her right through the ceiling of the bottom floor, pulls her down to the first floor. CJ flips out and she's screaming everywhere and she runs out. And yeah, Jackie him. And he comes after her. She's in the Jeep. I don't know why she doesn't drive. Well, he's picking up the Jeep, so that's why she really hasn't been able to drive away, I guess. He keeps picking up the left-hand side of the Jeep.
Can you go back to that monster shot?
Yeah. Jack Black. That's his comparison. Jack Black.
That's who I think it looks like. Cheekbone structure, the brow angle, but obviously different teeth and jaw.
That is a decent comparison, sir. Okay. I see it now. He steps on her. Now, this is the one thing about the suit that I was kind of disappointed with was the feet. They look a little too sculpted. So I was a little disappointed with that. But this was a nice effect. He steps on her stomach, and of course, shit pops out of her back. It splatters, around the ground.
Now, most Bigfoot have club feet. That's from Bigfoot prints. And a lot of them also have hammer toe. So from Bigfoot footprints. So if you look at it from that angle, the feet are not that off course.
Okay. All right.
So what is the plural? You said Bigfoot, like you're saying moose or deer. Is it big feet, Bigfoots, or Bigfoot?
I think it's just Bigfoot. But we have the right to
You got to be careful of these Bigfoot.
There are many Bigfoot in these mountains. Look out, it's Bigfoot. I think both of them are Bigfoot.
I think it's a family of Bigfoot.
I think it's a family of Bigfoot. Yeti would be, I don't know, Yeti I could go either way with. Yetis or Yeti.
That's why they Sasquatch.
I think it's Yetis. I think that would get an S.
Yetis. And now he's upset because the blonde, Haley Joel, got away. She's run over to Preston's house. They're together. She's flipping out. He's like, you got to calm down. Okay, I need your help. And he finally comes
in quality between these two suits. When you go back to that shot of him roaring in anger, it's look at the hair. Like that's good NFT hair. It's got a good length. There's different lengths on it.
Yeah.
You can see where the hair comes out of the skin as opposed to being laid on the skin like the other one. It's rough.
Yeah, agreed. And again, he's huge. He's humongous. Okay, so they make a plan. They go to the closet, get some of his climbing gear. They're going to go over the rail and get away in the car. And he tells her that, he realizes now he was given a gift by the fact that he's still alive, and he's going to use that gift if he gets away from this. And she understands. So, and they get an axe, which is nice. That helps.
Smart. Helpful.
Mm-hmm. And he hooks her up. He harnesses her up. He says, I'm going to go down first, and then I'll support the rope. I'll hold on to it for you so you can come down.
All I can think, though, is that, well, that's how his wife died, didn't it?
So, no, the rope snapped and they both fell.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, he goes over the side first and make sure it's safe. But, all this time, the monster is at the front door. So she starts to come down and the monster gets through the front door. And he goes over there and he pulls her back up. Whoa! Pulls her right back up, and yeah, he's just breathing on her face there. And then, out of nowhere, Otis shows up, and he's got the axe. And he puts the axe in the monster's back, and gets his face bitten off.
Nice.
Yeah, that big double hinge jaw comes open, and he just bites his face right off. And we're gonna see that in just a second. Yep, there it is.
Yep, that's a nice shear. That's well done.
Very well done. So Tinsley and his team did that. He did his own head cast, I'm guessing.
There's qualities that you don't want people to look at and try to identify the body. So there's things like the gold chain that he was wearing through the whole movie.
Yep.
That's on that corpse. So your brain says, oh, that's who that is. And, you just saw it happen, but it adds a lot of realism when you can add those little details into it.
Yeah.
By having that character wear a necklace the whole time, and now it's on the corpse, you know who that is without having to do too much work.
We got a gross from Lorraine. Gross! Your bedside manner. All right, so she falls now. She just falls, and man, she has gone through a lot in this movie. And so she's fallen quite a distance. He did try to block her fall a little bit, but anyway, she's okay, surprisingly, and she's able to drag him to the car. And I get in the car, and the keys are up in the visor. Of course, she's having trouble fumbling with the keys to get the thing started. Gives the creature time to chase after him. And the creature, yes, grabs the back of the car and does not want them to escape. So finally, she gets the car to move forward, but it smashed into a tree. She goes right through the windshield.
She's bad at this.
She goes right through the windshield. So that's it. She's done. Right? You would think. So he, being the smart guy, when the creature comes up behind the car, he pushes the pedal with his hand. He's down on the floorboard and puts the car in reverse and just backs the creature right up to a tree where the axe comes through the creature. Now, this is weird because that's a big creature, but the axe comes all the way through it.
He hit really hard.
I guess it's the handle. The handle maybe angled it to where it comes through the front of him. Who am I to say? So anyway, he just keeps doing it, keeps pushing that pedal until this creature finally does expire over the back of the car. And then he jumps out of the car and he goes to her, and amazingly, she's still alive. She just went through a windshield, but she's still alive. She's got some blood on her forehead, but hey, she's good to go. And
it's
then
a small windshield.
And then Phil Morris shows up. It's the guy from Mission Impossible. Hey, we're saved. And they put him in the back of the rescue unit and drive them off. And that's what we want to see. We want to see our heroes get out of this mess, because we have a feeling that this isn't over yet. So they're happy. They're in the back of they're gonna drive off to a new life, away from these mountains. And the police go checking around, and there's no body of anything. There's no bodies of any of the people that are supposedly dead. There's the axe has been broken in half. It's on top of the car. There's no Bigfoot body. And of course, the sheriff is like, you guys are a bunch of candy asses. What's wrong with you guys? And he's being a dick because that's what he does.
Bad to the heart.
I'm not sure if this was his last movie, but this was close to the end of his career. He passed away not long after this, I think. Paul Gleason. And then they turn around. They hear some noises in the woods. They turn around with their flashlights. They look up into the trees. And we get the money shot at the end of the movie. There's a whole bunch of eyes out there. Bigfoot eyes out there in the woods.
That's what's scary.
I think there was like 12, I counted. 12 sets of eyes. So they just keep popping open. You know, you see like 6 eyes and then 8 eyes and then 12 eyes. And that was a nice touch at the end. Oh my God.
Back in the car and move somewhere safe.
You would think. You would hope.
So there's a famous Bigfoot incident called the Ape Canyon incident.
Yeah.
And that is where 2 lumberjacks, loggers, were they kind of upset one when they were working. And then when they got back to their camp, like 20 Bigfoot came to their log cabin.
Yeah.
And were hitting the outside of it, throwing big rocks through the windows.
Throwing big rocks and boulders on top of it. Yeah, like
and they were
kind of thing.
They were assaulted for like 6 hours straight by big rocks and sticks hitting the sides of their cabin.
Yeah.
Ape Canyon incident.
That was in one of the Bigfoot movies back in the 70s too. They put it in there.
Probably.
I can't remember which one.
Yes, they actually dramatized it too, and it was like very scary, and they're rocking the RV or whatever. Yeah, it's the whole thing. But it's true, apparently. It's been corroborated. I don't know. More than one person has mentioned it, so I can't say that word in the Yonkers, but I'll work on it.
It's you did just fine. It is a famous story for Bigfoot enthusiasts. We've all heard that story. Well, okay, that's it. 2 Abominables, actually 2.5.
Only one of those movies was Abominable.
Yes.
The other one should have been called.
All this week, when I was creating the PowerPoint, I was calling it the Abominable Timeline. I love calling it that.
How does it compare with Harry and the Hendersons?
The creature in Harry and the Hendersons looks great. That's a classic, classic monster. I think that was done by it was either Stan Winston or Rick Baker. Rick Baker is normally the hairy guy, but I think this one was Stan Winston.
I think that was Stan Winston, and I think you're right. And very expressive creature.
Very expressive, yeah.
And that Bigfoot was played by Kevin Peter Hall, who also played the Predator.
The Predator. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining us on this very squatchy episode of General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. We'll see you again in early October. We're going to be doing something. Oh, great. I don't have my list in front of me.
And day after tomorrow, General. We're here day after tomorrow.
Where is it? I take that back.
We're live day after tomorrow, General.
Yes. But that's going to be Poltergeist.
He's twerking.
Very
He's
nice.
twerking.
Very nice. He's twerking. He's got some blood on his butt. How did he get blood on his butt?
Miley
He lives an interesting life.
Did you make that, or did somebody just buy that for you?
I purchased this many years ago at Toys R Us before they went out of business.
Okay. I remember when that happened. We're going to be doing Poltergeist on Thursday with Ruby Ray Moore. Even if the power is out here in Florida, I've got a backup for my phone. I'm going to be here. Gosh darn it. And I'm going to send the timeline tonight or early tomorrow morning before the storm starts to really hit.
Better be there, General. We're the last defense. We was counting on us to be there.
All right. So again, I'm hoping you're having a great season so far. Yeah. Very good. And again, we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yes. I don't know what we have on the books, but I'm down.
Yeah. Destroy all the fly, all the wax aliens, shining, Willard. I thought I had you down for. Gosh almighty. Again, I'll get back to you off camera. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
But again, thank you for being here for this. And anytime you want to come in and talk with us about werewolves or hairy things, we always love that.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right.